Discord. Not much right there. So yeah, I'ma react to why the Migos broke up. Okay. The fuck? Who's calling? Nah, that's crazy. Someone be. Nah, fuck that. Let's react.
Migos dominated the rap game for years and changed the way everybody wanted to sound. Takeoff's tragic murder last year meant the trio would sadly never perform together again. But rumors were flying that they had split up even before his death. A lot of fans believe Cardi B was actually the reason for the breakup. But today we're breaking down all the rumors about why the biggest rap crew in the game ended up falling apart.
Why did Cardi B and why Cardi B? The fuck did she do? Fuck him? Like, what?
Let's get right into it. Most rap fans didn't hear about the Migos until they hit the mainstream in 2013 with the track Versace. But their history together goes way further back than that. Quavo, Takeoff, and Offset grew up together in Atlanta and have real family ties. They started the crew back in 2008 and dropped their first mixtape in 2011. They followed it up with another project in 2012, and that's when they started getting some real buzz in the city. Back then, they didn't have access to a real studio. All of their early tracks were recorded in Quavo's mom's basement, but everything changed when they linked up with Coach K. The Migos hit the charts for the first time in 2013 with their track Versace, and Drake got them even more attention after he remixed it. By the time they dropped their YRN mixtape later that year, everyone had the Migos on their radar.
Is it just me or... Man, come on. Is it just me or, like... They had the most shit album cover ever. Like, I'm serious, they have, like...
2015 was an even bigger year for them, but 2015 is when the Migos really started taking over the game. They dropped the track Look at My Dab, and you couldn't go anywhere without hearing the song or seeing people dab. Haters said the Migos were just on a hot wave that was gonna die out soon, but in 2016, they went #1 with the track Bad and Bougie and proved the haters wrong. They spent the rest of the decade topping the charts, making headlines, and trendsetting for the culture. And in 2019, they made history after tying the Beatles for having the most tracks on the Billboard Hot 100 at once. A lot of rap crews start falling apart after they blow up. Sometimes people think they deserve more credit than others, there's usually money issues, and sometimes it's just petty drama that causes...
I do remember that, but I've never like really listened to them. I was more of that like in elite Java shit, but I didn't listen to it to those people, you know? That's crazy.
The split, but the Migos seemed different than the rest. They were real family who had been tight before rap, and fans never thought that the group would change. But in early 2022, reports started going around that they were done. The first sign that there was an issue came out last May after Quavo and Takeoff announced a project as a duo called Unconfused. The very next day, Cardi B and Offset both unfollowed Takeoff and Quavo on IG, but nobody close to the situation was saying anything. The Migos were all scheduled to perform together a month later at the Governor's Ball, but they ended up dropping out of the show. Reps at the time said it was because Quavo was shooting a movie and couldn't make it, but fans knew there
Martin?
Why is there some... Like, fuck off, man.
Frie giver dig flest gratis penge.
was something going on behind the scenes. Offset was busy dropping solo tracks while Quavo and Take promoted the new project, and all three of them were dodging questions about the breakup rumors. At the same time, Offset was beefing with the Migos label Quality Control Records over the rights to his own music. Everyone was trying to figure out exactly what was happening. And then just a few weeks before Takeoff's death, Quavo and him went on the Big Facts podcast and gave out a little bit of info.
We want to see our career as a duo, you know what I'm saying? Because, you know, we just came from a loyal family, you know what I'm saying? Shit that's supposed to stick together. And, you know, sometimes when shit don't work out, it ain't meant to be.
He also made references to standing on loyalty, which made everyone think Offset had crossed them somehow. It seemed like Quavo and Offset had some personal beef going on, but Takeoff said,
you know what I'm saying, we pray so only time will tell, but you know, we always family now. Ain't nothing gonna change.
According to rumors, Cardi B was somehow involved with the breakup. Some fans thought she caused the beef between Quavo and Offset, but it turns out that it might have been another woman who got in the middle of them. Back in 2018, Quavo started dating a rapper/singer named Sweetie. They were together for years and looked like they might get married. But then in 2021, they split up, and that's where the beef between Offset and Quavo might have started. 1 month before Takeoff was killed, Sweetie went on Young Miami's Carisha Please podcast and talks about their relationship. Then Quavo and Takeoff dropped the track Messy, and Quavo dropped a bomb with the line, I said, Carisha please, cause she too messy. My dog behind my back, but I ain't stressing. You wanted the gang, you should've just said it. We would've blessed it. Now shit got messy. Fans immediately linked the bar to Offset, who a lot of people thought cheated on Cardi B with Quavo's girl. Offset has been known to step out on Cardi before, and they even split up for a while because of his cheating. Hooking up with random women is one thing, but getting with Sweetie would have been a crazy low move for Offset. There's no evidence to back the rumor up, but a rap crew called Travis Porter said in October that the Migos broke up over a
The Migos.
How the fuck can music even, like, it's crazy that music, like, it goes into, like, your relationship. Like, shouldn't you just focus in the music except of, like, the relationship? That doesn't even matter. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't even matter, you know? That's crazy.
Like they broke up, man. What y'all think about that Migos shit? It was like,
Wait, you see?
it was over. What?
It's not clear if Travis Porter actually
can
knew
you
something that
be
fans
over
didn't,
this?
or if they were just guessing. But right when the situation looked like it was gonna break wide open, Takeoff was tragically murdered in Houston while hanging out with Quavo and the Prince family. They were all chilling at a bowling alley after a party back in November.
Vil du komme vinteren svært lidt i forkøbet? Kig forbi Matas og få 3 for 2 for helse til og med den 18. november.
And at some point, shots started going off, and Takeoff was caught in the crossfire. The police booked a dude named Patrick Clark for killing him, but it's still not clear how everything went down that night. Takeoff's death made it even more clear that whatever went down between Quavo and Offset was serious though, and instead of squashing the beef in Takeoff's honor, it's only gotten worse since he died. There are a lot of rumors that the Prince family was involved with Takeoff's death somehow. Quavo and him were chilling with Jay Prince Jr. when the shooting went down, and someone in the Prince crew allegedly set the whole situation off. Back in February, the Prince family went on $1 Million Worth of Game podcast to talk about the situation. And at the end of the interview, Jay Prince sent a shot at Offset and made the situation even more confusing.
It's Offset, dude.
This kind of crazy though. Like, people beef. This, how the fuck, how did they even start the beef, you know? I don't know, he didn't even say how the beef started, but let me just listen.
Don't leave him out. You wasn't really right there with Takeoff when he was alive. You know what I mean? So don't never put me in no position where, you know, I have to defend myself. You know what I mean? That wouldn't be healthy for you.
Offset clapped back later, but not before he allegedly got into a fist fight with Quavo backstage.
That looked like the Travis Scott apology video. Like, look at this shit.
Offset clapped.
Damn, that's crazy. He looks like he's about to like make an apology. Like, he doesn't even
back
care.
later, but not before he allegedly got into a fist fight with Quavo backstage at the Grammys. Quavo performed a tribute that night for Takeoff by himself, and he allegedly blocked Offset from being on stage with him. The situation got so heated that they apparently got into a fight about it before Quavo performed, and the video leaked where Cardi B can be heard yelling,
"Both of y'all wrong, both of y'all. This is not right. Now y'all go. This is not been talking."
Offset later tweeted that the story was capped, but obviously his relationship with Quavo isn't getting any better. Offset also took a shot at Jay Prince on IG and said,
"Y'all speaking on my real brother. Y'all know how me and my brother rock. You trying to clear your face?
Nah, that wasn't even like
fifth interview."
Then Jay Prince came back and made a ton of wild accusations against Offset.
See, boy, you acting like you a part of a family that don't really with you because you a snake. Remember we talked when you got your ass whooped in Atlanta? You forgot? Remember when you called up on me and I came to LA and met with you because you was nervous about your wife performing because she had them.
I don't even think he should talk. Like, he's fat. You know, he's the chubby ass guy. Like, you know that one chubby ass like rapper.
Then Jay Prince.
He shouldn't even talk. He looks like Malcolm X. You know who Malcolm X is? Man, I swear X. Like, you can't tell me he doesn't look like him. Like, take a look at that shit. The fuck? Oh shit. Oh, damn. Take a look at that. You can't tell me he doesn't look like Malcolm X. No, when he had a beard. Give me a sec. Like, right there. You can't. That's crazy. Alright. Now let's just Yeah.
Came back and made a ton of wild accusations against Offset.
See, boy, you acting like you a part of a family that don't really with you because you a snake. Remember we talked when you got your ass whooped in Atlanta? You forgot? Remember when you called up on me and I came to LA and met with you because you was nervous about your wife performing because she had them issues about using the word flute.
Cardi, Offset, and Whack 100 all call cap on what Jay Prince said, but Quavo didn't speak up for Offset at all. Some people claim that Quavo is afraid of the Prince family because of how much power they have in the game, but others say his beef with Offset is just so serious that he's not going to step in and help him out no matter what's going down. Quavo has dropped a few solo singles since Takeoff's death, and on the track Greatness, he pretty much confirmed that the Migos are over for good. He said, "Came in, swept the game like a storm with the motherfucking flow. Take did that, so don't ask about the brute. He gone, we gone, young. It can't come back." Then he allegedly took a shot at Offset with the line, "I can't kick it with the fake, and I won't sleep with the snakes. I'd rather eat with the greats. I wanted peace, but I can't. I gotta get something straight." Fans still don't have the full story, but Quavo isn't gonna be speaking on the situation for a while at least. Last week he tweeted that he's focused 100% on his tribute album for Takeoff and that he's not doing any more interviews until it's done. Last month, Offset and Quavo were both spotted at an Atlanta Hawks game in the front row, but they weren't sitting anywhere near each other.
They be
Unfortunately, it seems like whatever caused the Migos to break up is still causing issues. And at this point, Quavo and Offset obviously aren't looking to squash it. The Migos will go down as one of the most legendary crews in rap history, but it's tragic how everything ended up. Maybe Offset and Quavo will eventually sort everything out for Takeoff and their family's sake. But until then, tap in for updates because the real story behind their beef could break any day. Rest in peace to Takeoff.
Yo. It's crazy. Alright. Let me react to the other one right
I Matas finder du
Bro. Who is Keith D?
gaver til alle juleønsker.
Can I?
Både nye favoritter eller velkendte klassikere.
With 3 machines in one, the Ninja Luxe Cafe offers you a drink for every vibe. Like espresso for the sleep-deprived you, drip coffee for the on-the-go you, and cold-pressed espresso for the party you. Ninja Luxe Cafe.
Keefe D is all over the headlines after getting booked for Tupac's murder almost 30 years later. But most people have no idea how crazy his story really is. So today we're breaking down how he went from playing basketball with Suge Knight and chilling with Eazy-E to working with Pablo Escobar and becoming one of the biggest drug lords in rap history.
That's a lot of people though. Eazy-E, Pablo Escobar, that's crazy. Nah.
These days, Compton, California is one of the most notorious hoods in America. The Bloods, Crips, and other sets turned the city into a war zone, and it's been one of the deadliest places on the West Coast for decades. But back in the day, everything was different. Keefe D was born in Watts, California, but his family moved to Compton when he was a kid. His dad and uncle went down to Tijuana, Mexico to bet on horse races, and Keefe's dad hit it big and came up with $50K in his pocket, which is like winning $500,000 today. Keefe's parents decided to move to Compton in 1965 because back then it was a nice place. Everything was cool for a few years, but then the city started to change. Keefe said that the gang started moving in the area.
Like, you gotta watch that movie, Straight Outta Compton, you know? It's a crazy movie, you know, because, it's about, like, the build-up of, like, rap where they started cussing and all of that, you know? It's a crazy movie. You gotta watch that, cause, like, Eazy-E, he started that, you know? Wait, I'm hearing sound from, like, give me a sec. Yo. Nah, that's crazy. Nah, fuck that.
And that's when all the white people ran away.
Video. Like, look at this shit. Look at that. I'm not even reading that shit.
Their family was huge, and Keefe had 11 siblings living under the same roof. Their parents couldn't keep an eye on all of them, and Keefe got active in the streets at a young age. He said the first time he ran into some gangsters was around 75 when he was 9 years old and they jumped him outside a corner store. Back in the day, Keefe was focused on sports and wanted to make it out of the trenches that way. He even played football with Suge Knight back then, but both of them ended up hustling in the trenches. When he was around 12, Keefe started repping the Southside Crips and was getting into fights with their main ops, the Eastside Bloods. He told DJ Vlad that back then, they were just throwing hands and nobody was getting shot up, but it didn't take long for that to change. A lot of street dudes ends up moving weight to get a little money on the side, but the story of how Keefe broke into the drug game is wild. He used to move a little weed in high school and even sold it to his baseball coach. One day when the coach came to re-up with Keefe, he brought some coke with him and told Keefe to flip it. That's when everything changed for Keefe. After he sold the coke, he realized how much money he could rack up pushing weight, and that's when he went full-time with it. He ended up catching a couple of cases as a teenager, but when he turned 20, Keefe got wrapped up in his first serious charge. Keefe already had some legal drama going on with the drug charges, but the situation he got locked up for was way crazier. One day he was stopped on the block, sitting in his whip when some ops rolled up and put hands on him. They busted his jaw and gave him a concussion, but Keefe wasn't gonna just let them get away with it.
That's crazy. Oh God.
He drove to his house, got a rifle with 2 clips and a pistol, then slid into ops territory to find the dudes who did it. Keefe spotted the main dude outside his house, and the op ran inside before Keefe could hit him up. That's when Keefe upped his rifle and dumped both clips into the crib. He wasn't finished yet though. He kept sliding through the hood and spotted the op's brother too and chased him down. The dude put his hands up and Keefe could have killed him right there, but instead he just smacked him with his gun and let it.
That guy has it. That guy had a gun up his ass. Nah, that's crazy.
Though. He kept sliding through the
He
hood
had a gun
and
up
spotted
his
the op's
ass.
brother
Wait a
too
minute,
and chased him down. The dude put his hands up.
Yo, bro. Bro, that's... Nah. It's crazy, man. Give me a sec. You know? Gotta take a screenshot. Alright, let's just move on.
Keefe could have killed him right there, but instead he just smacked him with his gun and let his homie stomp him out. The cops wrapped Keefe's drug and assault charges all together and hit him with 4 years in prison. Going inside didn't make him want to get out of the streets though. It just made Keefe want to learn how to move smarter and get deeper in the game. He told DJ Vlad that prison was his gladiator school, and back then only real criminals were locked up there. Keefe said there weren't nearly as many prisons around when he got locked up, and the courts only sent people inside that they knew were really dangerous. Keefe was only locked up for 4 years, but 13 dudes were murdered while he was inside. By the time he got out, crack had taken over the streets and made everything more deadly. The Bloods and Crips were always fighting for territory, and bodies were dropping on both sides almost every day. Back then, Keefe was pushing 3 to 5 kilos of cocaine at a time and had to go all over the city to find the weight. He was working with different plugs, trying to get enough product to flip, and moving around like that is how you end up getting robbed and killed. But when someone he was cool with in the coke game linked Keefe up with a new plug, he took everything to a crazy level. Pablo Escobar is the most famous drug lord of all time. He ran the Medellin.
And look at that. The drug lord, Pablo Escobar. Of course, man. Of course he came up. Who else should it be? Like, come on.
Out of Colombia and became known as the king of cocaine. By the time he died in '93, Escobar had made around $70 billion in the drug game, and Keefe D was directly involved with that. A dude Keefe knew linked him up with the Colombian plug, and it turns out that it was one of Escobar's soldiers. The first time Keefe went to pick up, he was expecting 5 to 10 kilos, but the plug handed him 140 kilos and didn't even make Keefe pay. Moving that much weight in Compton wasn't even possible, so Keefe had to expand and start running drugs all over the country. Ice Cube broke it all down on the track My Summer Vacation and rapped, "In LA, everybody and their mama sell dope. They're trying to stop it, so what the fuck can I do to make a profit? Catch a flight to St. Louis? That's cool, cause nobody knew us. We stepped off the plane, 4 gangbangers, professional crack slangers, and it's better than slanging in the valley. Triple the profit, making more than I did in Cali." Keefe was never into the rap game, but he had known Eazy-E for years. Easy repped the Kelly Park Compton Crips, and they were clicked up with the South Side. Keefe said they used to cook up at Eazy's mom's crib back in the day, and they'd all listen to Eazy spit bars. Back then, Keefe said Easy was horrible on the mic, but he stayed on the grind and eventually became one of the hottest rappers in the world. After Diddy started Bad Boy Records, Keefe ended up meeting him at a music video. Diddy needed a lowrider for Usher's first music video, so he hit up Keefe D and used his whip. That's when Keefe met Diddy's homie Zip, and a few years later, he's the one who gave Keefe the good. That's when Keefe met Diddy's homie.
Martin Luther King? Wait, when did he die? There's a lot of people who died right here. Okay. Luther King. You can't tell me that's not he died in 68? That looked like him. You can't tell me he doesn't. Nah, you can't tell me that this doesn't look like Martin Luther King. Nah, that's crazy. Yo, he got revived or something. He got a reboot card. Nah, that's crazy.
Zip. And a few years later, he's the one who gave Keefe the gun that killed Tupac. Keefe is facing trial for shooting Tupac right now, but the situation didn't start with him. The issues with Diddy and Suge started after Suge dissed Diddy at the 95 Source Awards in front of the entire industry. Before that, Death Row and Bad Boy was cool, but Suge sparked a beef that night that ended with Pac, Biggie, and a lot of other dudes dying. Tupac signed with Death Row after Suge bailed him out of jail, and when he hit the booth, he came out swinging. He dropped a track, hit him up, and rapped. First off, fuck your bitch and the click you claim. Westside.
Vil du komme vinterens vejr lidt i forkøbet? Kig forbi Matas og få 3 for 2 på helse.
When we ride, come equipped with game. You claim to be a player, but I fucked your wife. We bust on Bad Boys, niggas fuck for life. Then, fuck Biggie, fuck Bad Boys and staff, record label, and as a motherfucking crew. And if you want to be down with Bad Boy, then fuck you too. And you niggas can't feel it, we the realest. Fuck them, we Bad Boy killers. It was one of the craziest diss tracks of all time, and it's allegedly why Diddy put $1 million bag on Suge and Pac's heads. Not long after Suge sparked the beef, his homie Big Jake was allegedly murdered by one of Diddy's friends when their crews ran into each other in Atlanta. Pac made the beef go viral and had the whole world.
I did not know that Diddy had that shit in him. I did not know that. I thought he was like a. I only thought he like did parties and make music. I did not know he had it like that. That's crazy. Just gotta scratch my ear, you know what I'm saying? Okay.
Watching, but there was way more going on in the streets that rap fans had no idea about. A few weeks before Pac was killed, there was a situation going down in California that set everything off. One of Keefe's little homies was at the Lakewood Mall when a dude named Trey and a few other Death Row guys tried to press him. Trey and his homies thought they caught the dude solo, but then some other Southside Crips rolled up and started putting hands on him. One of the Southside Crips who was there that day was Keefe's nephew, Orlando Anderson, and he's the real reason why Pac ended up dying in Vegas less than a month later. Pac, Suge, and a bunch of other Death Row dudes were in Vegas for a Mike Tyson fight.
The fuck did Mike Tyson do? Nah, that's crazy. What did he do? Like,
At the same time, Keefe and a bunch of his Crip homies were there for the same thing. Suge and Keefe had known each other since they were kids and had always been cool with each other, even though Keefe was a Crip and Suge repped the Bloods. And the day before Pac died, Keefe said he saw Suge in front of the hotel and they shook hands. Anderson was allegedly a massive fan of Tupac and owned every project he dropped. Rumors say he went to Vegas with Keefe and the other Crips just to see him. But what he didn't know is that Trey was with Death Row that night. After the Tyson fight, Trey spotted Anderson and pointed him out to Pac as one of the dudes who snatched his chain. That's when Pac walked up and threw the first punch. The rest of the Death Row crew jumped in and stomped Anderson out. Then they all ran off after hotel security rushed in to break it up. After he got jumped, Anderson linked back up with Keefe and the other Southside dudes and told him what happened. Keefe and his homies weren't strapped up that night, but that's when Diddy's homie Zip told him about some guns he had stashed in his whip. He passed Keefe a Glock, and that's when they went hunting for Tupac.
That's 50 Cent.
First, they went to Suge's nightclub called Club 662 and waited for him in the parking lot. The plan was to catch him when they pulled up, but after waiting for about half an hour, Keefe, Orlando, and 2 other Crips hit the road looking for Suge and Pac. There's a good chance they would have never found Pac and Suge if it wasn't for a couple of fans that saw him first. A car full of women saw Pac and started screaming, and that's when Pac started hanging out the sunroof. Keefe spotted him immediately, and the Crips busted a U-turn and pulled up next to Pac's whip. Keefe passed the Glock to the back seat because he didn't have a clear shot, and that's when Anderson allegedly leaned out the window and killed Pac. There was another car full of death row goons right behind Pac and Suge's whip, and they chased the Crips down and started letting off shots. The Crips got away without getting hit, but Pac tragically died from the gunshots a few days later. After it went down, Keefe and the other Crips went back to Compton, and that's when everything really popped off.
Oh shit.
Reggie Wright Jr. was
If Tupac was still alive, I think he would be the most controversial rapper in the world. Like, not like other rappers when they die, they get famous. He did not get famous by his death. Hell no.
the head of death row security back then, and his dad, Reggie Wright Sr., was actually a cop in Compton. Right after Pac died, Reggie Wright Sr. pulled up on Keefe and his homies and started sending death threats if anything happened to his son. The Bloods and Crips were already at each other's throats in Compton, but Pac's death took everything to the next level. In the first 10 days after he died, there were 11 shootings in Compton, and 3 more people were left dead in the streets. Suge allegedly put $100K on Keefe's head, and that's when Keefe sent out one of his white homies to ambush Suge and take him out.
You sent one of them dressed up in a UPS outfit to Suge's studio?
Yeah.
And I guess if Suge had opened the door, they would have killed Suge.
Zip came out to California and was supposed to give Keefe and the other Crips $500,000 for killing Tupac. And while he was there, Diddy allegedly called and asked, "Was that us?"
You guys met up with Zip
Focus more
in
than
LA.
the King doing there. No, oh shit.
Wingstop.
Nothing.
At Wingstop.
Yeah.
You said that Puffy called and said, "Was that us?" And you didn't say nothing.
I didn't say
Of
that.
course, a Wingstop. He's a fat ass.
Zip never gave him the money though, and Keefe claims the FBI told him Zip pocketed the cash and used it to open a nightclub.
Apparently, there was supposed to be $1 million that Zip was supposed to bring back, but he ended up keeping the money and buying a nightclub with it.
That's what the FBI.
I weekenden ekstra
Look at
gas
that.
med Superkreds.
I said.
Killing Tupac didn't just cause a whole new wave of violence in Compton, it also put Keefe in the spotlight and made his drug empire fall apart overnight. After the Colombians heard how much heat was on the Southside Crips, they dipped out and stopped supplying them with cocaine. Keefe had problems on the inside too. He claims that 18 dudes in the crew flipped and started helping the cops, and that's how he ended up facing life in prison on drug charges. And while he was locked up fighting the case, Keefe suffered 2 major losses back to back. One morning while he was sitting in his cell, the guards came in and broke the news that Keefe's grandmother had passed away. Dealing with that was tough, but just a few hours later, he got even worse news. His nephew Orlando Anderson had been shot and killed. According to the cops who worked on the case, this is how it went down. Anderson had been up drinking all night with a homie after he found out about his great-grandma dying. They went down the block later on to grab some food, and that's when Anderson spotted a dude from a set called Corner Pocket who owed Keefe a few racks over some cocaine. Anderson went up and pressed the dude over the money, and that's when a couple more Corner Pocket affiliates walked up. Anderson pulled his gun and shot one of the dudes. Then the other side busted back and hit him in the chest. After Anderson dropped his gun, his homie picked it up and shot another Corner Pocket dude while they were running off. When all the smoke cleared, Anderson and 2 of the other Corner Pocket dudes were all dead. Keefe lost 2 family members, had his own crew flipping on him, and was looking at life in prison if he took the case to trial and it went the wrong way. The FBI had over 100 agents working against the Southside Crips, and there was no way Keefe was going to skate on the charges. He claims that the feds actually offered him $500,000 to become an informant and help take down other dealers, but Keefe decided not to be a rat and work with the FBI. Instead, he made a deal to tell him everything about the night Tupac died in exchange for getting the drug charges dropped. Without him speaking about it, nobody would have ever found out the truth, but it turns out there's even
What the fuck is that?
He made a deal to tell him everything about the night Tupac died in exchange for getting the drug charges dropped. Without him speaking about it,
What the fuck is that? Mugshot. Keefe D mugshot. I gotta search that up. There. Yo. Yo, what the fuck is this? Nah. He has some crazy mugshots. Nah, let me just log in.
Nobody would have ever found out the truth, but it turns out there's even more to the story than what he claimed. In 2018, Keefe thought he was going to die from cancer and decided to let everyone know what went down in Vegas that night. He wrote a book about it and started doing interviews, and that's what led to him getting booked for Tupac's murder 27 years after it went down. A couple of years ago, rumors were flying that the cops were working on the Tupac case again, and Reggie Wright Jr. backed him up and said Keefe was scared.
I bet Keefe D been having the runs for the last 2 weeks. Because yeah, they are knocking on doors and there's some activity.
Keefe already admitted he was involved with Pac's death, but his deal with the cops gave him immunity from being charged. What got him into trouble though is that if anything he told him back then turned out to be a lie, he could still face charges. In 2023, the police raided Keefe's house and brought out all kinds of evidence that nobody else has ever seen. It's clear they already had something on him though, because the judge wouldn't grant a warrant for them to raid the crib over nothing. Even after Keefe said he was given the whole story, witnesses who were there when Pac got killed have a different version of what went down. In one of his interviews with Vlad TV, DJ Vlad brought up one of the witness statements, and Keefe got pressed about it immediately.
What witnesses were saying, though, was that when they saw the arm stick out the window and do the shooting, it wasn't a skinny arm. It was a bulky, hefty-looking arm.
Well, I was in the passenger seat.
I'm not saying it's you. I'm saying that there's 4 people in the car, but they said it wasn't a skinny arm that stuck his hand out the window.
Who the witness?
Can't say.
Okay, they lying?
Now, Keefe's officially charged with Tupac's murder and is supposed to be going to trial, but there's still a chance he'll get another plea deal if he helps the police. Ever since Pac died, there were rumors that Diddy was involved with the hit, but he always called cap on it and said the rumors were ridiculous. But if Keefe really did have conversations about killing Suge and Pac with him, Diddy could end up going down over the situation too. Keefe D went from selling bags of weed to moving kilos with Escobar's cartel.
Diddy has already gone through a lot. Don't bring in on the case. Nah. He already like doing the party still. That don't bring him on the case. Like you're gonna ruin his life.
And becoming one of the most powerful gangsters on the West Coast. Linking up with Diddy in the music industry could have turned all his money legit, but instead he stayed in the streets and allegedly murdered a legend over a beef that Diddy helped start. Diddy has always refused to talk about Pac's death in interviews, but if the police come knocking at his door like they did with Keefe, it's gonna be a different story. He's the one who allegedly put $1 million on Suge and Pac's head, and if the cops found any evidence to prove it when they raided Keefe's crib, then there's no telling what's gonna happen next.
I got something in my mouth. Just want to make that face. Alright, that was it.